Hello and welcome everybody to another player review. This time around we're going to be doing the 86 rated Inform Alexandro. I just want to apologize guys that there hasn't been a video up for a while. I've had exams for the past 2 weeks and I didn't have much time, but right now we're back in it. So let's kick it off straight off. First off, I used Anchor with him, but you probably could have gone with Basic just because he's very well rounded, but I wanted to boost his pace, physicality, and defense. Anyway, all the stats I say in this video are not the boosted stats and they're just the base stats. Now, as you can see, I tried him out for many games and I just couldn't get enough good footage because it was either my opponents never went down the right side for me to get footage of him or I just simply didn't use my wing backs that often in my gameplay. So let's kick it straight off with the pros. Now, one of the best parts about his card is the 95 stamina. It just honestly seems ridiculous. He was never tired, always going straight 90 minutes with at least a quarter bar full. He can run for days. Next up is the strength boost from his not in form. He's got 74 strength with this card, which definitely feels much stronger than his not in form card. It's honestly a great plus to have. Third off is a bit weird. It's just his dribbling. Honestly, I couldn't help but notice how good his dribbling is. It was crazy. He's got 85 in-game dribbling stats, and I can honestly say he's one of the better dribblers that I've used this year. Better than most wingers I've used actually. And fourth, he's got 92 sprint speed. That's so high for a left back, and he feels like a bullet at full sprint up and down the wing. Next up is his passing. And honestly guys, I can honestly say, despite what his in-game stats say of 82 short passing and 73 long passing in games, he had such good passing on the ball that I just had to include this in there and I just couldn't leave it out. And finally for his pros, his probably biggest up from his non-inform is the tackling. Both his stand tackling and his slide tackling are 85, which are his biggest pluses again from his non-inform. Tackles always felt solid, and I'd say more often than not, he came out with the ball. I'd say 9 out of 10 times he honestly came out with the ball every single time he tackled. Now that wraps it up for pros. Let's move on to the cons. He doesn't really have that many cons, it's just very minimal stuff. First off is the acceleration. As I said, it's not that big of a deal, it's just kind of a letdown at times if he does get beaten. He's only got 85 acceleration, but the sprint speed at 95 I believe I said it was, kind of makes up for it over long distances. And finally his positioning. I'm not sure if it's the high work rates, but he was sometimes out of position, and I put emphasis on sometimes because more often than not he was in a good position, but sometimes he was out of position, especially even when he was back in defense, but it's not really that big of an issue. Overall for me, I'd say he was a really good card. I just found it extremely hard to get the most out of him. It's either, as I said, I don't use my wingbacks often, or my opponents don't go to his side of the field. Now for the ultimate review, I'd give him an 8.5 out of 10 for enjoyability. He was just super fun to use, especially to dribble with, and I honestly had so much fun to use this card. His consistency, I'd give him a 9 out of 10 consistency. Now I had to get the most out of him and I had to put emphasis on playing with him, but once I did that he was honestly very consistent game to game. And his defense, I'd give him a 9 out of 10 defense just because he was very solid. All the aspects put together of pace, strength, dribbling, I actually loved using this card. And his next up is his versatility. I'd give him an ridiculous rating of 9.5 out of 10 for versatility. And when I say this, I can vouch that he can be played anywhere on the field except maybe for a striker. And the weekend league status, definitely 10 out of 10 for weekend league status. He is everything you want in a left back, especially in the weekend league. Strong, fast, big, good dribbling. You definitely want him if you got the money. And speaking about money, his price, I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10 just because he's around 240k, and don't get me wrong, he's a great card. He was super fun to use, very consistent, but honestly his not in form will just do you just fine. Unless you've got money to just spend on him, I wouldn't get him. Well guys, that's a wrap for today's episode on the Inform 86 rated Alexandro. please hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Till next time, peace.
Down.